Art Allen here, chatting with the one and only Steve Cederquist, Flip or Flop, and a myriad of other fantastic projects. I was doing research, and it looks like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know how accurate IMDb is these days, but Hardcastle and McCormick was like a first gig for you, one of those shows. Is that correct? Thanks for your time, by the way, for hanging out.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, back in the day, my dad, we used to do a lot of stuff on set for them. So as a kid, I would go down there. I wasn't a kid. I was 15, 16 years old, and I'd be on the set of Paramount, or we had a offset stage that was down by Marina Del Rey, and that's where we did all the filming. Well, they did all the filming. That was, that was, who was that? That was Cannell Productions. And we'd be down there hanging out in the docks, right by the docks where they were filming that show Riptide.
Yes. Oh my God. What a classic show. Oh
yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we had fun. It was fun. So yeah, I they drugged me in a few different times, and it was fun. I liked it. So it was good. And I got to work. What I really liked working was on set, because on the same stage I worked with Family Ties. And Family Matter? What was the one with Michael J. Fox? That was
Family Ties.
Yeah, Family Ties and Webster. So I got to know Webster and Alex Karras, and I literally ran into Michael J. Fox literally coming out of the bathroom once and literally flattened him. I have this history of doing that. I did that with John Stamos once too. I came out of the bathroom. We were at a club, and he came out, and boom, and he went down.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So clearly, this began for you at a very young age. It was a family affair, and it just took off from there. It sounds like, just one thing after the other.
Yeah. I took a detour in the 80s, because we got all, Hollywood was all full of the drug scene in the 80s, and my detour was that, I kind of got caught up in that cocaine era back in the 80s. So it was, I don't know, that was definitely a trip.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, let's talk about your background, because obviously interior design, creativity, that is your lane, and you've done a lot of it, and we've seen you on TV and all of these different projects that you've been a part of. What are some highlights for you that have just stood out in your career? Obviously the big one, we know that one, but are there others too that have just been benchmarks for you in your, what I consider to be, very successful career?
Yeah, I've done a lot of celebrity homes. I've done just kind of, my thing is this: I don't really care if they're a celebrity or not. What I really care about is the energy when I go in on a project. It's like, when I go in, I want to make sure that the people are equally as excited, and they're not, you know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever been involved with a remodel project and yourself, with your personal home or whatever, but it's got to be, it's a collective effort. You got to work
for sure
with your clients. So a lot of our clients, even some celebrities I've done work for, I kind of tell them, like, no, dude, no, you got to be involved. You gotta feel this, you gotta feel this. Our design team may spread something out for you, and you may say, oh yeah, let's do it. That's on paper, but I can't tell you the number of times I get into a project and I change it, just because it just doesn't feel right once we start doing, like, maybe we should do that. I did that today on a house that Tarek and I are doing. I'm on a new episode with the new show, Flipping 101 right now.
Yes.
And I'm changing that up all the time. And it's like, I'm driving the production people crazy, because I'm just like, no, we're going to do it this way. And I don't know. I like good energy projects, and I think they make them more fun. And when I walk out the door, usually, with my clients, either celebrities or just, us regular folk like me, we become friends, we end up having a good relationship, and they call me back for the next project.
Yes, Flipping 101, a great show. All of those, the others too, are fun as well. But let's walk through that. So from start to finish, because I think people would find that fascinating. What we see on TV is clearly different than what's happening in real time, because I imagine those projects can wind up taking a while, depending on whose house you're working on or who the person is, the energy, as you mentioned. I just find it all very fascinating for sure.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's any house that we do, we have to go through. I mean, we're on the spotlight. We've got 10 million viewers. So everything I do has to be perfect. I have to do, like I remember the inspector came the other day, and the first thing he did, when he walked in the door, he asked me, he goes, "Do you have your clearance report, your asbestos clearance report?" And I'm just like Johnny on the spot. I just pull out my back pocket. I'm like, "Yes, sir, got it right here." You have to, I mean, you're under the microscope, of every entity possible, whether that be the state, the EPA, everybody. So that to begin with, you really have to have your ducks in a row, for that. But yeah, I mean, getting your design down, getting plans put together, getting those submitted to the city and dealing with all that, craziness that goes on there, and the wait time, wait time for the inspections and your plans to get back. And that all takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So how do you squeeze that into a 30-minute, 1 hour episode? Obviously, there's the magic of television that's involved, but I think people just are really in awe of the work that you can do. And it's fun to watch. I mean, it makes for great television, I think, for sure.
A lot of editing, a lot of when we hit the edit room, it's like I've got my experience now in production, so I understand what it means how to edit. We get so much footage. You get 25, 26 hours, footage, and you got to cut it down to 30 or 60 minutes, depending. Well, you're only 24 minutes, basically on a 30-minute show because of commercials. So yeah, we have a lot. We pick the highlights, and we pick the ones that seem, the good ones that'll be for good commercial break, and we leave people in suspense, like the water pipe's gonna burst,
Yeah,
and,
like dun dun dun.
yeah, exactly. Like what's gonna happen now?
Or the spiffs between the three of you. I mean, that's always fun to watch.
Oh yeah, yeah. We real, and a lot of that is real. That's like real stuff. I mean, we really, with my design team, like my head designer right now is in Bali. And so she's going to be shocked when she comes and we film again on Wednesday. Yeah, I just got my call time Wednesday, and I've changed everything up. She's going to be like, "What the hell did you do?" So yeah, I mean, I just, I don't know. I kind of looked at the flow and I was like, this isn't working for me, and expense. The design team sometimes they look at it, and one of the premise of this episode we're doing right now is because I do my own flips, but I'm an overspender. When I do my flips, because I like to do things right, and I like to add key elements. I like to do things right. Everything's got to be perfect. And Tarek is kind of reining me in a little bit, saying, "Hey, you really can't spend $50,000 on the kitchen." So that was kind of where I'm up against right now. So I'm cutting it down to about 20,000 right now on the kitchen.
Wow, it's also fascinating, Steve. So I have to ask, prior to, you traveling to the television sets with your dad, were you just naturally crafty as a young person? Like, did it just kind of come to you? I'm talking like arts and crafts, drawing. Like, was that always something that interested you?
No, not at all. I remember I worked for my dad once, and they threw me up in the drafting room, and I was just so bored. I was like, "Oh my God, you guys are killing me up here." And they were having me doing tracing drawings so I could learn how to do drafting. And it was the most boring. I literally felt like I was watching grass grow. It was horrible. So I had to get out. I've always been kind of an entrepreneur. I'm the kind of guy that would go, like, wrote in my book, like I would, at 7 years old, I'd go dig in trash cans and find people's stuff that they would throw out, good stuff, they would throw out. And, I would take it home, clean it up, fix it up, and then I'd have garage sales at 7 years old. So I was always an entrepreneur and fixing things. I would fix things. I don't know if that falls in the crafty category, but more handy, more hands-on.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, considering what you do now, it makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that. I still do that. Oh my God, I still do that. You ever watch Storage Wars?
Oh God, I love that show. Yeah.
Okay. So I know a lot of the guys on the show. We're obviously, we're all kind of interconnected somehow, TV land out there. And so Dave Hester, Dave calls me all the time. He's like, "Oh, I've got an auction going on. You got to come out." I'm like, All right. So now I have 2 storage units full of my own crap that I go and I buy these storage units. I do it on my days off when then they have auctions. And I'm just like I was a 7-year-old kid again. I buy this stuff, I fix it up, I bring a lot of it home. And my girlfriend's like, "What are you bringing more stuff? You're like a hoarder now." I'm like, "I know, I'm auditioning for hoarders."
That's
So,
funny. Well, when does this new episode air of Flipping 101 with Tarek?
on my episode, we're still filming, so we probably won't be done until February. So
Okay.
April, May. I would say we'll probably be the last episode of the season, close to the last episode. So I would say we'll probably air in like June or July, probably realistically.
And Flip or Flop, that's airing everywhere now in wonderful syndication land. Again, the chemistry that you all have, it's just those are fun shows, and I'm a huge Storage Wars fan, so I'll have to see if we could maybe get those guys on someday. That show just all of these shows fascinate me, but congratulations on all the success that you've had. I mean, this year's just fun. Best advice, last question, that you've ever been given in the trajectory of your career, whether it be on television or just in personal life, that really has sustained you and kept you going, Steve?
I'm a real positive, motivated person, and I've always been a Pitbull fan, and I remember, you know, I've always looked at him in his music, his energy. So when he just came to concert over here in Irvine, and I said, "Hey, can I get backstage and hang out with Pitbull?" Me and my girlfriend, and we went through a couple different people we know, and we were able to do that, and he said to me, he says, he just loved because he followed me a little bit, and I follow him, and we were going back and forth, and he always has this saying, "A day above ground is a better day, than below." And
Wow.
and I always feel that, each day I wake up with just this amazing motivation of just, today's another day to do it better, and to keep going. I think that, and I tell people that all the time. I know we're in such a crazy, divided, horrible, crazy world right now. And I've always tried to like encourage people, like, don't let it get to you. Just like, what, always be the better person, stand up, do what's right. And, look at the brighter side of things. Don't fall into that negative, because I think that negative energy, it's kind of like, if you ever have friends like that
Oh, all the time. I can't.
they come up
It's
with those
hard to be
jumper
around.
cables, and they come on, they pinch them on your nipples, and then they suck every bit of energy you have out of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, "No, please don't." And you're like wither, and you're like, "Get them off me," and you throw them off. So I try to like avoid people like that in my life. I try to stick around people that are like totally like on fire, and they're like, I had people this morning like, "Dude, I got this new invention and I got all these ideas." So I don't know. I like being around like-minded people.
It reminds me of the Dementors from Harry Potter, that they just come and they just suck the life out of you. I say that
That's
to my
true.
8-year-old oftentimes when he gets like complaining about stuff. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
don't be a Dementor. And he knows what that means, where
That's
it
cool.
just sucks the energy out of the room. Well, just as an example, really sidebar here, but he was, I don't know, complaining about he wanted to get Paramount Plus. And I'm like, we have all these other streaming channels. Do you understand? When I was your age, I'm 49. I had 3 channels. I was the television remote for my dad. I got up and turned the knob. So to your point, yeah, I get it. You have to surround yourself with positive people, or it attracts positivity, right? And I think that's what has been also, at least from my perspective, part of your success, because you surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah, I think I really do. I do. I actually just signed up to do a mentor program over here at the high school, the local continuation school, actually. And my friend is the principal there, and he's like, "Dude, you got to bring your book. I want to put your book in the curriculum. I want you to talk to these people." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." You know what I mean? So I've been doing that now for about a month, and it's really rewarding. The kids today, they're a lot different than even when my kids grew up.
Yeah.
They kind of got this like, I don't know, different attitude. It's just, what do we call them, Gen X, or what are they called now? What's the new generation now?
I
It's
don't know. I have
yeah,
no idea,
it's
but I get it. Yeah.
yeah.
Where can
So
people
yeah,
get
it's
your
different.
book? We'll put a link in our show notes, but where can people get it?
Oh, cool. Yeah, my book right here, Get Out Alive, is my book. And I'm actually writing a new book right now, God Out Alive, but you can get Out Alive on Amazon. Just look it up, my name, and it's a great book. I always tell people too, if there's people out there that can't afford it, hit me up, email me, or just message me through Instagram, whatever, and I'll send you a free copy. My idea of putting this book out was never to make money. This idea of putting this book out was to be of service and help people and want people to see, to grow. And I've done that. And I had a guy reach back out to me that was going to commit suicide. And he said, your book changed my life. And I thought, you know what, all that time, I mean, it took me 2 years to write the book. I thought, man, that was all worth it. That was all worth it to me. Just that one email.
I love it.
Dude, I love it. Yeah.
Well, you've been an inspiration to me. And when Kelly said, hey, would you be interested in talking to Steve? I said, absolutely. Just all of the things that you've done, even this podcast, just really about all the things that we talked about. So I really appreciate your time, Steve. I've been a fan for a long time. I love watching you on TV and all the other things. And thank you for hanging out with us today. I really do appreciate it.
You got it, man. Thank you.